The courtroom hummed with quiet conversation as people whispered among themselves, curious about the young girl standing near the defense table. She looked completely out of place, dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans, clutching a thick stack of legal books. The wooden benches were filled with seasoned lawyers, curious onlookers, and reporters who had heard rumors about this unusual case. At the judge's bench, Judge Harrison, a veteran of the legal system with over 3 decades of experience, leaned back in his chair with an amused expression. He was used to all sorts of oddities in his courtroom, but this was new. "Miss," he said, his deep voice laced with humor, "I assume you're here for a parking ticket, or did you accidentally wander into the wrong courtroom?" The room filled with soft chuckles. Even the bailiff cracked a smile. But the girl didn't flinch. She simply adjusted the books in her arms and met the judge's gaze with unwavering confidence. "Actually, Your Honor, I'm here to represent my client." A hush fell over the room. The smirks vanished. Judge Harrison raised an eyebrow, leaning forward slightly. "Represent? You mean as an attorney?" "That's correct, Your Honor," she replied smoothly. "I passed the bar at 16. A collective gasp echoed through the courtroom. A murmur rippled through the audience, and even the opposing attorney, a grizzled man in his 50s with decades of experience, turned to stare at her with disbelief. Judge Harrison tapped his fingers on the bench, regarding her carefully. "Well then, Miss Carter, is it?" He nodded. He let out a soft chuckle. "All right, Miss Carter, if you're truly an attorney, let's see if you can handle yourself in a real trial." With that, he gestured for the case to proceed. The opposing attorney, a man named Richard Gaines, adjusted his tie and gave a theatrical sigh. "Your Honor, this is absurd. A child pretending to be an attorney—" "Objection," Carter interjected immediately. Gaines stopped mid-sentence, looking at her with mild annoyance. "Excuse me?" She turned to the judge. "Your Honor, age is not a legal basis for disqualifying an attorney. If opposing counsel believes I am not qualified, he is free to cite a specific statute that renders me ineligible." Gaines opened his mouth, then hesitated. His jaw clenched slightly. Judge Harrison suppressed a smirk. "Objection sustained. Proceed, Miss Carter." She turned to the jury, her posture poised and professional. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution has built its case on weak, circumstantial evidence. They claim my client is guilty, but their so-called star witness has a history of making fraudulent accusations." She stepped forward, placing a document on the table. "In fact, Your Honor, I'd like to submit new evidence proving this witness was financially compensated to testify." The room erupted into hushed whispers. Gaines stiffened. Judge Harrison raised an eyebrow. "New evidence, you say?" She nodded, gesturing toward the bailiff, who took the document and handed it to the judge. "This is a bank statement showing a recent deposit made to the prosecution's key witness, an amount suspiciously high for someone who claims to have no financial motive." Gaines's confidence wavered. "Your Honor, this is ridiculous. Where did she even get this?" Carter turned to him, unfazed. "It's public record. I just did my homework." A murmur spread across the courtroom. Even the jury members exchanged glances. Judge Harrison studied the document, his expression shifting from curiosity to something resembling admiration. He let out a low chuckle. "Well, I'll be damned." The prosecutor's face turned pale. The judge leaned back in his chair, shaking his head. "Miss Carter, you're not just an attorney, you're a legal prodigy." A ripple of reaction spread across the courtroom. Some of the veteran lawyers in the gallery whispered among themselves, reevaluating their first impressions of the girl. Carter smiled, a flicker of satisfaction crossing her face. "Does that mean I win the case, Your Honor?" The judge exhaled a laugh, shaking his head. "Let's just say I won't be underestimating young lawyers anymore." A moment of silence lingered before the courtroom erupted in applause. Even some of the opposing attorneys couldn't help but nod in approval. Carter gathered her books and turned to leave, her head held high. As she walked out, Judge Harrison watched her go, still shaking his head in disbelief. He turned to Gaines, who looked completely dumbfounded. "The legal world has no idea what's coming," the judge muttered to himself.